Okay, Mario, once again with my microflight, and I just acquired another go-kart here. I was actually looking for a second go-kart. I have a Yerf Dog 3020 model that I did some other videos. I have a series of videos uh, um, on that cart, taking it apart. It was a working cart. I bought it working. I ran it for a little bit, and I decided to take it apart so that I can start from scratch, refinish it, and just really, really make it nice. Um, that one was running the 3020. This is a 3202 model. I didn't know that this was also a Yerf Dog. I just got it home today, and when I brought it in, I noticed that the first thing that I noticed was the pedals. And these pedals are solid pedals, and that's a trademark of the Yerf Dog, the older cars, which is I'm really pumped about these older cars because they're solid, well built frames. Anybody that has a Yerf Dog will be able to also will probably agree with me with that respect. These pedals are not like the modern pedals that you see today, which are sometimes aluminum or flimsy metal. This is a good 3/16 at least steel, and the way this is bent, to create this to create the pedal is just a very solid, clean way. I really like the way, and this is how I like products, to be built in I was looking at this car for a while. It was in one of the in one of the sites that sells used equipment, and I decided to contact the seller, and was able to work a nice deal with him on this car. It does need the wheels. The wheels are shot, the front wheels. Um, this looks like it was painted. It was slightly modified. Um, it's got a couple areas that whoever owned this chopped the frame at the corners. I guess he was going to reinforce it with some triangulate those sections. So it's not a big deal because I can do that. I can weld that. I've gotten I think good enough to do that. As far as welding, I'm not a pro welder, but I get around. Um, the wheel is much bigger than the my 3020. This looks like it's maybe an 11 and a half, 12-inch wheel, which is a lot more. It's got a lot of more torque, when with a larger wheel. It also has the um, the kill switch there and some other switches here. This is very interesting what they did here with this foot pedal here. They put the switch for the lights because this has some lights. The guy told me it's got lights. I don't know if they're working or not. I don't care about the lights so much as I do mainly for the frame. I bought it for the frame so that I can clean it and take it apart. And it's the same thing that I do that I'm doing with the 3020. I'm going to do with this one. I'm going to clean it completely, gut it, sandblast it, and really start from scratch. I don't plan on selling these cars. This is what I'm doing is not to resell these cars, is to keep them for me, for my grandkids, for my mainly for my grandkids. Hopefully, as they're getting older, I can run these with them, and they can have a little fun. These wheels for the front are shot. Whoever had it before, they tried to modify it, and they're the rims are kind of ruined. So I'm gonna have to buy some new wheels. Not a big deal. The rear ones are okay. The This, I don't know what this bar right here, it looks like it was cut. This looks like this belongs maybe on top of here. Maybe it was part of the seat frame. Not a big deal. I'm more concerned with just the main frame, just the basic main frame. And I did want something with shocks, and this one has a suspension, full suspension, rear suspension, and also has suspension at the front. This, like I said, is the model 3202. I looked it up online, and I was like, when I went to buy this, I was a little bit unsure that this was going to be a 32. When I brought it home, and I checked it against the some of the prints that I made from the manual, the exploded views. Sure enough, this is a 32, and the foot pedals just gave it away. I looked at the foot pedals. The first thing I did was look at the foot pedals, and I go, oh my God, this is a Yerf Dog. Um, so I'm very excited about getting this. I know these things are not, to some people, this is garbage, this is junk in the way they look, but for somebody like me, or somebody that knows what they're doing, that can that it's not a big deal, taking things apart and putting them back together. Working on a golf cart is not that big of a deal. I'm not familiar with the gas engines. That's my only weakness, is I'm not familiar with some of these things. I'm getting familiar as I'm working with this, and by the time I'm done with these cars, I'll probably be an expert at all these things, because I really want to understand this, and I want to solidify that in my brain, so that I don't have to think twice. Anytime I need to speak or talk about these things or fix something, I can go right down to the source of the problem. And typically, that's how I approach things. From that point of view, nothing is really hard when you put your mind to it and you're determined to do these things. So to me, these things are not hard. Taking apart the wheel has been the hardest point, as far as taking the car completely apart on my 3202. I'm gonna have to do the same thing, because this just happens to be the same way they attach these wheels. I'm probably gonna encounter the same issue of removing the wheels. Who knows? Maybe this will be easier to remove or not. But I have a solution that I put on how to remove these wheels, and I'm going to be videotaping my removal of that wheel with my idea, my solution. Um, this coming weekend here, so I'm a little pumped about that too. If that works the way I have thought about it from a logical standpoint, then that will solidify it as a point of reference, a solid point of reference on taking out these wheels from go-karts, because I have not seen that option in so many videos that I've seen of people trying to remove these wheels. I've seen people put 2x4s, chains, pump these things with hydraulic jacks, but I've never seen anybody talk about my option, which is more logical than anything, from a leverage standpoint. So what I'm doing on my other one is I'm putting these big washers. I'm going to be welding it to the hub here, so that I can grab it with a puller in that area, instead of grabbing it from the rim or from the back, or with 2x4s or with chains. So this would put a lot more leverage where it should be leveraged out. So you want to grab this from the center, and then have the puller push in, with that pin that you torque in on the shaft, and so that should provide a good leverage to take out the wheel. So that's been my idea, and I've been posting videos, and I have full threads on that in the do-it-yourself go-kart forum. So if you want to check those out, and follow those videos, go check those out, and just follow my work that I'm doing here. I'm pretty sure there are other people that have done this before. I just have not come across, those little tricks and details, but I have searched high and low. This is something that I've been looking at for the past for the past 3 years. I've been wanting a go-kart that I can take apart and fix. In the meantime, I have been building electric go-karts just using maker pipe connectors and AMT conduit. I have my own bender that I did, my own bender, so that I can bend. So you can see those other videos as well. I have full videos, series of videos on those builds and on my electric go-karts. But these are gas go-karts that I bought them to because the frame is already done, and that's why I was saying, I'm more interested in the frame, in the base of the model, rather than some of these aesthetical things that the seats I don't care too much about, stuff like that, that can be done really easily. The hardest part is working on the transmission, the drive system. That's the hardest part. Brakes, stuff like that, shocks, that's easy. So, but the frame on these is why I bought them for. And instead of me building, if I had to build a frame and source the materials, to weld, it would take me a long time to do that. Not to find the materials, but to just to weld a new frame. So balancing the cost of material, the time that it takes to weld, and to arrive at something similar to this, a frame like this, I just rather buy the frame. If it's a beat up go-kart, if it needs wheels, I don't care about that. If it needs an engine, this one, I think it needs an engine. This is shot. The guy told me this is completely shot. The belt looks like the belt is no good. This belt it's crap. The chain is also messed up. So I really don't care about that, because I may also convert this one also to electric. So that's my other target. So it depends what you're looking for, I guess, is the point. When buying these cars. This is not a how to buy video, but I am just throwing that in as part of the as part of my just my target goal. You know, I've been, like I said, I've been wanting something that I can work on, that has a pretty decent frame, that I can just take it apart and start from scratch. And these things allow me to do that. The other thing about these cars, they're very, very, I really like the size of these. They're not really huge, even though whoever had this made it a two-seater. I don't think these are the original seats. I think he converted to a two-seat instead of having just one long seat, which is kind of cool, but it needs work. Is that the distance from the wheel to wheel? This is a very short distance. It's not really wide, and so I can run these in my backyard. If I turn these into, they can run with the gas engines. You know, the sound is not that annoying, because these things sound like a lawnmower. So it's like, cutting your lawn in the back, cutting your grass in the backyard during the day. So I don't think it annoys anybody from that perspective. But I do want to run these also at night. So that's my target, to do these, convert these to electric. Problem with electric is that not so much. There's a cost. There's a heavy penalty on the as far as cost from converting from gas, because a gas engine you can buy for about 144. I think it's those Predator 212s, 5 horsepower, 6 horsepower, which is plenty for these cars. So I've been finding out. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but I have been reading about that, and just gaining a little more knowledge on these engines. So a 5.5, 6 horsepower, engine that runs these cars, in terms of electric, you're talking about something in the 5,000 watt motor. So that's it's almost 700. I think it's 745, 750 watts. 750 watts per horsepower is the way that you calculate these things. So if you have a 5 horsepower engine, you're going to need about it's 700 watts. It's 7 times 7, almost a 7 kilowatt motor, if you wanted to go exactly similar to that kind of power. I don't think you use all that 5.5 horsepower, when you're running this, and it's certainly not when you're running this in a backyard. So as far as electric, I would not need that kind of torque, that kind of power. But somewhere in the maybe 3,000 watt motor is, I think would run this just fine. That also keeps the requirement for the battery and power consumption, as far as amperage, low, and it also keeps costs down, because the higher you go up in voltage and in amperage, the more money you're investing on the batteries. So as far as batteries is concerned, I have a ton of not really a ton, but I have a good amount of Ryobi batteries that they run the tools, my tools, 18 volts. So I've acquired, every time I go in and need a tool, I look for the deals where you can buy two. They give you two batteries for $99, and you can get a free tool. So I've been buying that way, the Ryobi, and that's why I like Ryobi brand. And so I've acquired quite a number of batteries, just from the tools that I've been buying over the years. This is not something that you buy, in one shot, unless you really need it, all those tools, and unless you can afford that. But over the years, you tend to acquire, these things. So I have a bunch of those batteries that I can parallel, and also put them in series, to achieve the desired voltage for a 3,000 watt motor. Something you can buy from Amazon, say, for about $150, and for the motor, kind of similar to buying a gas engine, Predator 212. $150 for the electric motor, and then the batteries in that range. You need something in the range of 48 to 72 volts, something around 10 amp hours. To give you a nice runtime. I run two 18 volt Ryobi batteries in series to provide a 36 volt total for my electric go-karts that have repurposed, that are driven by repurposed hoverboard motors. Those go at those batteries are the capacity is 4 amp hour on those, and those give me 15-minute runtime. which is good for to drive around the block, come back. I go to the schoolyard and run there. Nobody knows I'm running them because they're quiet, electric, and they're light, really light that I can handle them in case the car dies. I can push it myself, and I'm not out of breath. When I'm done with that. But something like this, this is a little more heavy duty. A 3,000 watt motor would require somewhere in the 48, I believe, 48, 60 or 72 volt, 10 amps would be a good capacity, to give a runtime of maybe 20, 30, maybe 45 minutes. An hour would be great, but I don't plan on driving this, for long distances. It's just for fun, just to go around my backyard, or go around the block, when nobody's around. Electric, quiet. Nobody knows you're doing these things. It's not annoying to people, and so that's my target with these things. And so that my grandkids, as they're getting older, they can come and sit here and have fun. I can also lower the voltage, so they operate these things at a much safer reference. So that's why I've been buying these things, and it gives me something else to do. I've been doing radio control models for the longest time. I started with micro helicopters, selling those when nobody really had that, those little tiny ones. And then when the full wave of micro helicopters came onto the scene, I started taking my original ones and revamping those as upgrades, because mine were much better than the stuff that was coming out from China, or the stuff that came onto the market later on. So I started selling my original helicopter as parts to upgrade a lot of the stuff. There was the influx of micro helicopters that were coming, from various companies, made in China. So I did that for a while until the helicopter market kind of died down. Then quadcopters came on. I did not get on board that. I also have quadcopters, tricopters, multicopters that I have designed that I could turn them into kits, but I decided not to compete in that market, because that market had long gone much ahead of what I was what my targets was. And so I decided to turn my radio control ultralights, microlights that I had for many years, way back, early 80s, late 70s. I had already plans, to sell those at some point. I decided to sell those, and that's what I sell, to this day. But working on stuff like this is the point that I'm trying to make. It gives me a break from doing that, because I've been doing that so much that it gets monotonous. And so working on these little carts is just a different a different shift of mindset. Even though there's quite a bit of work to do this, but I don't mind. I take my time, and I work little by little. I'm not in a hurry to get these things done quickly, and so it also allows me to really absorb the how these companies made these cars, which is very interesting to me. When I buy something like this, many people, I mean, some people may wonder, why are you buying junk like this? And to me, this is gold, because it gives you, if you invest the time to trying to understand this or work on something that is broken, and you're trying to make it work, and you're able to do that, which I'm fairly good at these things. Um, it gives you a lot of information that you would not otherwise have. So I look at it from that point of view, and these things are, priceless in that respect, when it comes to working in these things and getting information. So that's my take on these things right here, and I just wanted to do another video just to start off this other go-kart, which is will be another project. Um, I know I'm acquiring quite a bit of projects here, but like I said, I'm going to take my time, and once I'm getting done with the other one, I will be working on this one, and this one will be back in good shape. I really like these Yerf dogs. I've kind of grown on fond of this company, and just by looking at the way they made these things, they're solid. Yerf dog, I believe it's an American company, because all the nuts and bolts are also American size specs. So that's also nice. If you have tools, that most of your tools that are for American sizes, I guess they call those imperial sizes, and we have metric, which is European overseas, and everybody else except the U.S. The U.S. has their own sizes. So I really like the way these things were made, in the U.S. U.S. is, companies that do these things in the U.S., especially the old companies that, solid stuff, and that's, you know, that's a truly well made U.S. made car, and so I really like that. I mean, I really like the solidity and just the thought process. Well made. These are well made cars, and that's why they survive. This long. I don't know how when this car came out, this particular model, but I believe these are way back from. I think these are a little bit older, from maybe back 1996, maybe around pre 2000. But who cares? What's important is how solid these things are built. So something, a good base that you can build upon or modify or work from that point on. So anyway, that's my take on this. Mario, once again, stay tuned for more on these cars. I'm very pumped. Thanks for watching. This video does not want to stop. What's going on here? Having issues with my phone. Doesn't want to stop. Come on, baby.